Today we're looking at the top cordless vacuums that you can get on Amazon for about $150. Now there are a lot of $150 vacuums that you can get on Amazon that are no name, and I mean literally no name. They have a lot of negative reviews and none of these are worth buying. Instead, I've boiled it down to two of the best affordable vacuums that I've tested in the last year. First is the Black & Decker Power Series Extreme BSV 2020 series. This is the pet version, but you can get the same basic version, the Max, for about $20 less. It's a great vacuum, but it does have some significant differences against the next vacuum that we're gonna cover. Now, if you got pets, okay. There we go. I recommend that you vacuum every single day, and here's why. This is just from a single session of vacuuming of maybe 40 minutes. And you can see how much collects in this vacuum in just one day. My editor suggested this because he's got a vacuum tornado that he vacuums up every single day in the second vacuum that we're gonna feature. This is the Kenmore Elite CSV, and this is actually one of the lightest vacuums on the market right now. It's less than 6 pounds. It has a 21.6 volt battery, and it's got some big differences compared to the Black & Decker. We're gonna look at the different features. We're gonna test both of them, but remember, at this price point, you can't expect the best of the best. The quality in these is not gonna be as good as a more expensive vacuum. Let's get into it. First, let's look at the design. The Kenmore has an easy reach wand which bends. It's easy to get under furniture and beds. It's also got a dusting brush, and unlike the Black & Decker, it does not stand up on its own. The Black & Decker has a conventional wand. It does not bend in the middle, but importantly, it stands up on its own, and that's something that you don't really get in a lot of vacuums at any price point. The Black & Decker has a larger head. It's bigger, it's beefier, it has LEDs on it, and it actually is pretty anti-tangle. You've got a row of purple bristles separated by this orange row, which is good for sort of agitating the dirt in your carpet. The Kenmore has a slightly smaller head, and it's got two rows of bristles as well. One is a little bit firmer, one is a little bit softer, but it is not anti-tangle. It does have LEDs. The Black & Decker just has a bigger, beefier, more powerful head, I would say, for carpets. Both of them have heads that can detach and turn into hand vacs, which is great for doing furniture or perhaps doing the inside of your car. When it comes to weight, the Kenmore is only 5.8 pounds as I measured it. That is probably one of the very lightest stick vacuums on the market. That's really good. It makes it really easy to handle. Now the Black & Decker is 6.9 pounds, so it's about a pound heavier. It's still pretty lightweight compared to some of the competition, and it's just a little bit less flexible, a little bit less maneuverable, but still a pretty good weight. The Black & Decker, frankly, is not quite as good on stairs as the Kenmore is. Again, it's because the head doesn't really turn quite as much. It's not quite as maneuverable, and it's just a little bit heavier and clunkier. The dustbin capacity is different too. The Black & Decker is about 0.75 liters. Definitely does not hold as much as the Kenmore, which is a full liter. They're both pretty easy to open. That pops up, and this pops open to clean as well. Let's compare battery life. So we're gonna start off with the Kenmore, and it has a built-in battery that is not removable. My cat doesn't like that, as you can tell. You plug it in, you charge it up like this. That's pretty much it. They say you can get about 45 minutes on a single charge, and that is true if you run it at the lowest power setting. However, when you run it at a medium setting, it's just not gonna be as long. It's more like 20 to 25 minutes in my experience. The Black & Decker has a battery that is part of the Black & Decker series of batteries that works with all of their power tools. And it pops out like this. Is the 20 volt battery, and what's nice about it is it also comes with a wall mount like the Kenmore, and you just pop this whole thing on the wall like this. This is gonna be attached to the wall, and it charges up while it is sitting on the wall. The Kenmore comes with a wall mount as well. You just slide it in. I don't know where it is right now, but you have to sort of charge it up separately. It's not integrated into the wall mount. So I'm gonna say that the Black & Decker is definitely better on the battery front. Someone in the comment section made a great point that I should be talking about filters and how much they cost to replace. On the Kenmore, the HEPA filter pops out like this. You can get 3 of them for $20 on Amazon, and you should replace them pretty frequently, and you should also wash these monthly. I think that's a good idea. A lot of people complain that their vacuums stop working. It's because you're not washing the filters. You've got to clean them every 30 days. On the Black & Decker, you've got a filter which is extremely dirty because I've been testing this extensively. You get one of these for $10 on Amazon. The Kenmore will definitely be a little bit cheaper to maintain over the long run. Filtration is one part of the story, but the other part of the story is how well is the canister sealed? Because you might have a HEPA filter that's supposed to filter particles down to 0.3 microns, but if all that dust and dirt is sort of getting back into your air because the canister isn't sealed, how much does filtration really matter? It's not as effective as you think it is, and unfortunately, on the Black & Decker, this is not sealed at all, and this totally does not pass the smoke test. Now, Kenmore doesn't say that this canister is sealed. However, in our testing, it actually is pretty well sealed. It's not perfect, but it's pretty darn good. So if you got fluffy cats like I do, if you got dogs, if you are sensitive and you got allergies, you definitely want to consider a vacuum that has a sealed canister. It makes all the difference in the world. I think it's basically a deal breaker or a tiebreaker if you've got pets. I would definitely recommend something with a sealed canister. And at this price point, this is the only one that I'm aware of that has a properly sealed canister. Next, we're gonna test pickup performance, but I wanna ask you one thing. If you haven't subscribed and you find value in this video, please go ahead and do that. In our pickup test, we dump 40 grams of sand on carpet, and the Black & Decker picked up 95%, which is actually a very good score for an affordable vacuum like this. We ran the same test with the Kenmore, and it also picked up 95%. Both of these picked up 100% of the sand we dumped on hardwood, and that's pretty much par for the course with a decent quality vacuum. Even though objectively pickup was about the same, subjectively, I think that the Black & Decker agitates the carpet a little bit better because it has a beefier head. It just seems to have a little bit more force to agitate the carpet and get the dirt out of it. So if you've got more carpets, I would definitely lean towards the Black & Decker. If you've got hardwood, I think probably kind of a wash. Now, part of the pickup performance is suction, so we tested suction at the wand. The Kenmore had 20 kilopascals of suction and the Black & Decker had 22. Basically a tie, very close. We also test airflow at the wand and the Kenmore was about 16 meters per second. The Black & Decker definitely had an advantage. It was 27 meters per second. I see people commenting both on YouTube and on Amazon and other places about build quality and how this vacuum failed or that vacuum failed, and unfortunately, the position I'm in, I can't really do long-term testing of vacuums, so I have to sort of rely upon the comments. And if you see 2 or 3 comments, that doesn't necessarily mean it's indicative of the overall quality of the vacuum when they're shipping tens of thousands of these. Again, you've got to take this somewhat with a grain of salt. So with all that said, subjectively, we're going to talk about build quality, and I think that this Black & Decker is actually pretty good. It feels pretty solid. The parts are pretty decent. I think the dust canister might be a little bit flimsy, but overall this feels like it's going to take a little bit of abuse. I have been abusing this for a couple of years in vacuum tests and it has not failed yet. However, you read in the comments, both of these are going to have issues. The Kenmore is a lighter weight vacuum and it does not feel quite as solid as the Black & Decker. I haven't had any issues with it. I've got friends that have used these for a while, and again, take that as you will. Probably neither of these are going to be particularly repairable. The one downside with the Kenmore is that this battery is not going to be replaceable. At this price point, you got to think of these vacuums as perhaps something a little bit disposable. They're going to last a couple years. Sorry if that offends you, but that's just sort of the reality of the world we live in. So which one is better? Before I tell you that, the links are going to be down below to purchase these vacuums. If you purchase from my links, I make a little bit of money and it really does help out the channel. When there's no sale going on, these are roughly the same price. However, you can find these at discounts and sales sometimes, so which one to pick? And it is pretty close, to be honest with you. I would say if you've got pets, this is gonna be my choice just because it has the sealed canister. And to me, that's really important. I think that's a big deal, especially if you have allergies, if you got kids, if you have any kind of sensitivity to dust. I think it's just better to have a sealed canister. This is also lighter. It has the easy reach wand to help you get under beds and furniture. And in my experience, Kenmore has been pretty reliable. And again, you can get this sometimes at a pretty nice discount. If you're already in the Black & Decker ecosystem, of course you should get the Black & Decker mainly because of the battery. This does have better battery life than the Kenmore. It does stand up, which I really like too. It does have a smaller dust container, however, but it is gonna be a little bit better on carpets. But the main downside of this one is that the canister is absolutely not sealed. To me, I don't really like that, but it does seem to be pretty durable. There's another great video on cordless vacuums right here.